Laugh out loud, we're wrong. What is it? Laugh out loud, we're wrong. What's the truth in it? Laugh out loud, we're wrong. There's no use in it. They laugh out loud, we're wrong every day. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Welcome back, people. You know, we've been talking here about all kinds of issues. We start the show. Welcome to Laugh Out Loud. We come to you from Regina, Saskatchewan. TalkingDog.tv/LOL if you want to come to the show properly, I think, and that's the one. You know, people, there's lots of topics, and one of the things that's facing us here at the studio is extinction. So if you're going to talk about what it takes to market yourself, you know, I mean, what does it take, people? Anyone out there? Dr. J's in there, laugh out loud all night. Yeah. Wanna laugh out loud all night. No, night. I don't know that one. And laugh out loud every day. Welcome to the show, Dr. J. Call your friends. We're talking about sponsorship. We're talking about continuing with something that, you know, we're looking at funding. We're trying to find broadcasters. We're busy trying to save the day here because, you know, all good things got to come to an end, and it's the same with the LOL VIT, and it's the same with the Talking Dog TV shows if we don't get funky. So I don't know if it's the case, but I wonder sometime if it blows my mind if I lose my Laugh Out Loud show. I don't know if it's the case, but I lose my space if I lose my Laugh Out Loud show. You know what I mean? So anyway, Laugh Out Loud with Ron all day and night. We're talking about soft porn on TV earlier, and I think that it's you know, it's an interesting thing I was talking about, is saying, you know, should it be on? I was sitting there with my wife, you know, and we were sort of, you know, thinking about getting jiggy with it, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden, just on one of the normal channels, not the ones we usually, you know, there were people going to it, and there was guys and girls mixing it up out there, and I thought, wow, you know what I mean? But my wife thought, what's the truth about this? Should we cancel it from the channel downstairs? You know, should we hide it from the children? And I thought, I don't know if we should, if we could, you know, because they just can't. We caught my daughter last year, and she was relating with this young guy in her classroom, and they were watching, you know, similar porn sites together, and it was like, oh my God, the things, it was funny because the things you would watch as a grown man sneaking around is one thing, but the things you would watch knowing that your daughter just watched it is another thing, and that was interesting. So, oh snap, says George. That's the one truth. So anyway, what would you do about it? You know, do you believe that, you know, pornography, light pornography should be on TV at 10 o'clock at night so the 13-year-old, you know, Nubian who's just getting their jeans on is getting the inside line, or should it, you know, should it be hidden? Can you hide it? I don't think you can hide it. We're talking about porn. Oh, snap. And there's the man right there. You want to smoke? Diddly ding. There's just in. Don't you love guys that just quit smoking and you just follow them around and offer them cigarettes every 5 minutes? You know what I mean? That's that guy. I like to do that to him, you know. Anytime he comes through and someone just say, you want to smoke? Yeah, that's the one too. So anyway, Dr. J, what's going on? What do you know about soft pornography? Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Oh, snap, you know, baby. Dr. J, now tell me, what do you say? Smoking is bad for you. That's right, Dr. J, you got that right. That's the big one. And it's funny, too, because we were talking with the guy who's quitting the smoking, and then someone else chimes in and says, you know, my great-grandmother smoked like 9 packs a day. She died at 83, you know, whatever, right? It's just wild justification for just throwing, you know, cancer sticks into your body. But what can you do, you know what I mean? We're talking about porn. Is pornography bad for you? You know, back in the day, of course, they were all against masturbation, right? Remember that? I mean, that was the whole myth around masturbation. It was bad, right? It was immoral, and you know, you wouldn't do it. Now, of course, it's more out in the open. But the church certainly was saying back in the day, you know, you don't want to be doing that and all this and that. And nowadays, okay, the dam is broken and the masturbation is everywhere. You know what I mean? And now we're talking about softcore porn. It's an interesting thing, actually. Pornography on the net and its availability to anyone at any age. It's quite interesting. But then again, you never know. Like, I mean, I was watching the TV with my little guy, and you know, it's the same old thing. Murder, she wrote. You know, even the little, you know, cartoons are all about murder. We've been doing puppet shows, and we find that we've got murder in our puppet shows. You know what I mean? It's like everywhere. I remember me and my friends, we decided to try and film some stuff, trying to make some kind of a show. Next thing you know, we're in the alley. You know, one guy's been murdered, you know. So it's murder and sex. That's the theme for the show. And I think that, you know, it's a bit hard to keep up with murder and sex these days. Every TV show is about murder or sex. I guess everything is about murder or sex, right? We all die someday, you know. At least for the next 10 minutes, we're going to do it, you know. And there's a nice drink. But you didn't do see? There you didn't do the one. You didn't stick to your guns on the ginger beers? How do you like that? What about you people? Dr. J, ever had a ginger beer? That's a good question. Now, I know Dr. J's an American young man there, and he's the kind of guy I like to ask. You ever had a ginger beer? We've talked about ginger beer. We've talked about porn. We've talked about all these things. We come around to it again and again. George, I mean, this is the question. And we're asking George to tempt Dr. J. We're asking Guy Dwyer. We're asking Jason. how do we make people, notice? I'm talking about web presence, right? And we'll stick with web presence for 17 seconds more until we end this segment. We're going segment by segment today, guys. This is the truth of it, I'm at my halfway mark, so it's a two-tone segment. The reason we're trying to make segments here is we're trying to plaster the net with a little bit more product, a little bit more output, right? So instead of just doing a 2-hour show, or 1-hour show, whatever it is, we'll be putting out 10-minute segments. So that's the last time you'll ever hear me say that. Anyway, so I don't drink alcoholic beverages. All right, now ginger beer is not an alcoholic beverage. I think we talked about this too. That's right, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. Diddly ding. The show's in that. That's right. We don't want to confuse it. Dr. J, just not to confuse you alone. They're going to stick it out and be here. But we're breaking it up into 10-minute chunks so that everyone can say, hey, But no, ginger beer is like a ginger-flavored, thing. It's like a fruit, not a fruit, it's like a soft drink, from the Caribbean. It's a lovely drink. You should try it sometime, You get a patty, beef patty. You ever have beef patties, Jamaican patties, West Indian patties? Nice stuff. I like it, They're kind of like the Caribbean hamburger, Those are bad for you, too. Dr. J says, Wikipedia on the ginger beer. Here we go. Someone tell me what's going on. Yeah. Where are the people that used to come to the show? I don't know. That's all I know. Come on and talk to me. You think that the ginger beer is bad for you too? It could be. Who knows? You never know what's the truth about it. Here you go, Georgia Timms. Actually, I heard the drink is good for you if you don't want to get Alzheimer's. Well, that's a nice topic because what? I have heard a beer a day or a glass of wine and stuff like that is something that is certainly contributes to a healthy lifestyle. And I think that that's a good point because I'm pretty much up there with the one a day guys. You know what I mean? But I'll tell you one thing now, a little bit about Alzheimer's. I've got two little stories to tell you because it's interesting because my own grandmother's one story, but my next door neighbor, now here's this lovely woman, right? Her husband died about 10 years ago, right? She doesn't actually live next door. It's her son and his family, but she's always there and she's lovely as the day is long, right? She's about 65 and she's just the sweetest lady. You can joke with her, say whatever you bloody well like. You could even talk about masturbation. But the thing is she was just diagnosed with having the beginning stages of Alzheimer's. You know what I mean? And it's got to be a scary thing, You're just like, whoa, it's bad enough having to deal with life every day as it is, you know what I mean? And maybe it'd be better, who knows? Maybe she's the lucky one, but my grandmother was a pretty severe case of Alzheimer's right near the end of her life, and she wandered off in her farmland somewhere and ended up drowning. So Alzheimer's is the one. I suppose a lot of people have been touched by that, but everything in moderation is what Dr. J says, and that's what we're talking about when we talk about beer. I think everything in moderation, but what about murder and sex? I mean, should we do it? Can you do that in moderation? I don't know, since everything is about that, we won't do it. Okay, we won't do murder in moderation. How would you do murder in moderation? Just, you'd almost kill a guy? I think that's what you'd do. Or maybe you would do some softcore porn where you almost kill people. Is that what you do? I think that could be it. We were looking at a TV show today now. You could fill me in, Guide Via. What was the name of that guy and the show about the cheerleading show in Norway? I'll go about a minute. Okay, we'll just round it off back with porn. Softcore porn. Now, here's a guy on the net that was talking about the fact that there's this Norwegian school that has the children doing a strip show a fashion show for the teachers, and apparently it turned into a strip show this last little year, and and that's the question again. High school teachers, requesting to or participating in a strip show with their students. I mean, it takes all kinds, and it's like my friend said on the net. He said, I guess they have a different moral code than we do. So look at that. How are we doing for time there? We're trying to time things up. We want the timer. 20 seconds. 20 seconds. So I'm going to say, hey, half a minute. Okay, we talk about, George Attempt says it's serial killing. Now, but how does, the almost killing is just attempted murder. So that's what we're talking about. In the segment to come up, we're going to talk about attempted murder and serial killing in that order. This just in.